Yeah, so let's go ahead and I guess we'll start talking about this She-Hulk mess that we have on our hands. She-Hulk episode 4 came out this week. Obviously, it's about the same. It's just terrible. But the great thing about this week's episode is that we get to see She-Hulk take on the dating scene, which was huge. Huge.
We get to watch her try to smash.
Yep. Swipe right, swipe left, all that good stuff, and try to get herself some boys. What did you think about this episode, Mike?
It was excellent. It was excellent. It was the best television. Dude, the show sucks so bad. Like, I don't understand how it's getting progressively worse. She's like, they introduce a guy named Donnie Blaze, who I know Josiah probably doesn't know this, but Johnny Blaze is the Ghost Rider. But Donnie Blaze is
Johnny Blaze is awesome.
Yeah, but this is Donnie Blaze.
Yeah, so I was actually like confused by that. I was like, okay, so is there like an actual Donnie Blaze from the comics, or do they just make that for the show? Is this supposed to be just some sort of like weird on Johnny Blaze, or what the heck is the deal with that?
That's a really great question. I don't know, dude. I mean, like, it doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah. But Donnie Blaze, he was out there. He was like, "Hey, I'm Donnie Blaze, and I'm a crappy magician, and nobody likes me and stuff." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." But then he has like a sling ring somehow. I don't know how he got a hold of that. There's apparently you just grabbed any of those.
Apparently, Wong like trained him or something and gave it to him or something like that. But then he also like was like, "Oh, we got to stop this guy because he's gonna mess up the universe or whatever." And it's like, okay, then why did you give it to him in the first place?
It's a great question. Or why didn't you just take it back? Because you're the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
Like, Wong is terrible at his job.
The Sorcerer Supreme spends like most of this episode, complaining and obsessed about The Sopranos. That's what he spent.
A show that's been out for a long time. But yeah, dude, I don't know, man. The whole dating thing and her being like, "Oh, I'll put a profile on here for me," and everybody's like, "Nah, no thanks." And then they're like, "Be She-Hulk," and they're like, "Oh yeah, we want that." It's like, it very much implies that, don't be yourself, ladies. Be green and be different and be a buff, hot, tall chick.
Yeah.
And then guys will want to date you.
Oh, why is that an alert? I'm not proud of this.
All of the guys that she dates are just like these terrible, terrible guys as well. Which, I guess, and the funny thing about this is that they make like literally like all of the guys absolutely horrendous. And then you get to this one guy that she starts to date who is reading like bad feminists on her couch. So, some sort of like, I don't know, male feminist type of guy that you think is going to be this fantastic guy for her. And then the next morning after they had, some, time to mingle and all that stuff, she is back to her like regular old Jen self, as she calls herself, and he's like, "Ugh, I don't want any of that," and then he leaves. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what do you expect? Like, Disprue made a good point about this. He's like, it'd be like waking up to an entirely different person and then being like, "Who are you?" Like, what?
Yeah. You'd be like, I didn't come here to hang out with you. I came here to hang out with She-Hulk.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, this is also me." And he's like, "Okay, I gotta go." And she's like, "Oh, that's so offensive." It's like, why? Like, yeah. Because I mean, you're like small and not in great shape and like sad.
Yeah, and have just like a horrible personality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it was weird because when she was like when she was She-Hulk and she was hanging out with this guy and stuff, she actually like smiled a little bit and was kind of like a little bit like cheerful, which is kind of the first time we've seen her like that in the show. I was like, wow, okay. And then, she goes back to her regular old sourpuss self, and it was great. So yeah, all the guys were terrible that she was dating. They were just like horribly cringe and idiotic male characters.
Yep.
Except
for the doctor. the rich doctor, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
But then he turned out terrible later after she dragged him off to bed.
Yep. Then they had this whole cringe scene where she was like dating this one guy, and they were like doing like this weird like staring contest who was going to like take the check.
Yeah.
And it was just like really dumb and weird, and I don't know. Like I just don't like the perspective that the writer has on men in this show is like so it's probably like some of the worst I've seen when it comes to just like blatant hatred for men. It's pretty terrible.
I don't know, man. I don't know what they're trying to do with this show. I mean, and then, you know, there's like a whole fight scene where these demons come out of the portal or whatever, but like Wong literally like solves the problem at the end of the fight. Like she's like fighting them and smashing them together, and they're getting bigger and stronger. And then Wong just goes like, he opens up a portal and they're throwing him through the portal, and then he just makes the portal like suck the rest of the men.
Yeah.
But it's like 50 of them.
Yeah.
And they only threw like 10 of them through the portal. He could have literally sucked all of them up through that portal by himself.
He's like, She-Hulk, I need your help. And then she comes in, and then like, you know, halfway through the fight, he just sucks the rest of the men. And it's like, wow. Yeah. So why did I need to be here?
Yeah, why didn't you do that in the beginning? And he's once again, Wong is terrible at his job.
Yeah.
Like really bad at his job. Like it's embarrassing how bad he is at his job. But you know, Doctor Strange is the bad guy. Though.
And then like the one guy that she's you know, that she actually finds like the right date with and everything else, and they're sitting on her couch. And one of the things that he says to her, like almost like right off the bat, is tell me about how you felt.
Oh yeah.
Tell me more about how you felt. And it's just like, what?
Yeah. Basically, he's just like, you know what? Instead of having a conversation where we're mutually like discussing something, what women really want is just to be told, like, asked to talk about themselves constantly.
Yeah.
And the man doesn't ever talk about anything he's interested in.
Yeah. And that is in the apparently kind of like in the idea that She-Hulk has and everything else. That's supposed to be kind of the prime male to look for, male specimen. Except you can't say specimen because specimen's bad too, apparently.
Yeah, that sounds pretty racist of you.
Yeah. So it's just terrible. And then then she was like, at the end, she was like, oh, I'm sure there's gonna be a great tag on this episode. And then it's just Wong sitting on the couch with some idiot that he is apparently now with, who is just like one of the most grating characters that I've seen in a long time. Just sitting on the couch together watching The Sopranos, you know.
Yep.
Sorcerer Supreme, supposed to be, you know, kind of the guardian of the universe and all this stuff, and he's just watching The Sopranos.
Yep. And frustrated that they got spoiled for him by this other chick, this drunk chick. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I'm like, I don't know, man. I just don't know. And you know, they released the mid-season trailer for it, and she constantly every episode now since the second episode, she's complained about the cameos in the show. Yeah. But then the whole mid-season is just full of cameos. More cameos. Cameo after cameo. They're like, Daredevil is a cameo, all this stuff.
This guy's really kind of doing it for me.
And it's like, what is the point? Like, what are you guys trying? Like, you why are you complaining about these cameos? If you don't want them in the show, just don't put them in the show. I will say one scene did make me laugh.
Okay.
And it was when Donnie was in the courtroom. And they basically were like, the judge was like, until I decide, he can keep doing magic. And he's like walking out or whatever, and he does like a magic trick, and he goes, oh, what's this? I have a bird. And he like covers his hand, he pulls it up, and he's like, oh, as he walks out. I was like, okay, that was actually kind of funny. But once again, it was a dude being funny.
Yeah.
They can't even make her funny. No. They haven't made a single other character funny in the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, at least this mid-season trailer is going to be excellent.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, it's going to be so good. I can already tell.
Why would I enjoy it?
So she still doesn't like it, apparently.
Oh, gotcha. I forgot it was in this trailer that she said that. Yeah.
But there's parts that she likes about it.
Being able to walk home at night without being afraid.
Murder.
That whole scene was like so weird and random too.
Murder.
Yeah, it was great.
I think you're in a unique position to do some real good. Jen Walters can use the law to help people when society fails them. She-Hulk can help people when the law fails them.
So there's our little Daredevil cameo right there.
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know, I think that they're kind of being tactful with what line they used for this trailer for Daredevil because
Mm-hmm.
I think they know that if they fuck up Daredevil, it's not going to be pretty for them at all. I mean, they know that there's a huge draw for Daredevil, especially with just how great he was under Netflix, and they're going to try to take advantage of that as much as they can. But at the same time, they're already talking about all these things that they're going to be changing, like they're going to be giving it a lighter tone and all of this type of stuff, which obviously is already an indicator that they are planning and going their own direction with the Daredevil character.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, I don't think that it takes a prophet to be able to say that, Daredevil is just going to be terrible under Disney Plus. I hate that so much. I hate that.
Look at how he smiles.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy, I just didn't expect it to be that good.
And that's the sad thing. That's the sad thing about this is that when they first announced She-Hulk, which was kind of before, Marvel especially started to really just plummet into just awfulness. They really were like, I know that a lot of people were actually pretty excited for She-Hulk. I was kind of excited about She-Hulk. I was excited to see what they're going to do with the character. And little did we know that we were going to end up with this type of horror.
Yeah.